Fantastic. Chapter 3. I clutched my hunting knife tightly in my hand. I had no idea what was going to happen next. I had so many questions. Is this guy okay? Why are there monsters? Why is it so foggy? Why? Watch out! James awoke me out of my daze. Sweat was dripping from my forehead as I held my knife in front of my chest and waited. Slowly, a dark figure came waddling down the street. As it got closer, the sound of static became most definite. I reckoned it was something from something inside James's coat pocket. Wait. Oh, the static. Okay, I thought she was talking about the dark figure. I reckoned it was coming from inside James's pocket. A radio, perhaps. It was finally in full view. By God, what the hell was it? It looked like a deformed person wrapped up in their own skin. Ooh. James ran forward and started beating the monstrosity on top of its noggin with his plank. Oh, that's what he had it for. It screamed and cried and thrashed out. I ran over and started attacking it too. While it was on the ground, I slit its throat and blood sprayed across the top of my chest. The creature soon stopped moving and it was dead. Hopefully. James then kicked it a couple times until he was satisfied. I suppose that's what you were talking about. And then we pointed to the thing. Yes, be careful. I nodded. James started to walk off, but I grabbed his shoulder. Where are we going? I asked. He took out his map and studied it for a bit. He said. Neely's Bar. Oh, I was planning on going there, I laughed. Why do you need to go there? I found a note telling me to. Because that's a good reason why. I nodded and followed James down the road. After avoiding a few more of those frightening monsters, we made it to Neely's Bar. Once inside, I was disappointed. There were no drinks or anything there, because I'm a drunk. But there was a map on the bar counter and a bunch of newspapers glued to the front of the window that said, "There was a hole here, and now it's gone." Even though that's not how the phrase actually goes. The map had piqued my interest, so I picked it up and looked at it. It was a very old and dirty looking version of the ones me and James had. There were also circles drawn around certain places in the town. One area had a question mark on it. James! Look at this! Do you think we should go down to Martin Street? He looked over my shoulder and nodded. I think that would be the right thing to do. We exited the bar, and after a 5-minute break, we made it to Martin Street. A 5-minute walk. Sorry. We carefully walked down it, occasionally hearing the noise of something squeaking. It didn't sound like a monster. In fact, it was more annoying than scary. Suddenly, something crawling on the ground ran out from nowhere. Out of anger and terror, I flung myself at it and started wildly shaking it. What the hell is my character doing? James stumbled back. All the blood from the creature was pumping out wildly onto me. By the time I was done, my legs were soaked in blood. I brushed off my pants and stood up. Sorry, I said. Did I upset you? James stared at me for one moment, and then he said, Not at all. We walked further down the street until we came to an end. There was a dead body there. Oddly enough, it was dressed exactly like James. It was horribly mutilated, and it looked like the face wasn't there anymore. There's just so much wrong about this story. I shouldn't be able to see everything that he does. Why? I looked at him with concern. My mouth was gaping open. What? James said as he kneeled down and took a key from his double. This should unlock the Woodside apartment, he said. Just then, a weird, grotesque-looking thing landed right in front of us! It didn't have a head and moved around on its elbows. It had a high voice that made your ears ring when it screamed. I think I just made up a monster. It ran over to me and clamped down on my leg with its sharp little teeth. I screamed in terror and tried to hit it with my knife, but I was just too scared to aim right. James took his plank and started hitting the monster with it until it let go. Take this and run! He threw me the keys. I'll meet you there. I nodded and limped off, avoiding the monsters as I ran to the Woodside apartment. I finally got there. I was about to walk in when I looked down and noticed I had bled quite a lot since the monster bit me. Slowly, I dropped onto the floor. It was getting dark. My mind was shutting down, and I could hear the faint sound of sirens off in the distance. Chapter 4. I didn't even realize we were on Chapter 3. I opened one eye. I couldn't see anything. My hair was covering my face. My legs still hurt like hell, but the bleeding must have stopped. I finally mustered up the energy to sit myself upright. I looked around. My head was hurting. I grabbed my hair tie and pulled my dark auburn hair back into a ponytail so I could see. Everything was different, and yet the same. It was hard to explain, like everything is as it was, but it aged 1,000 years. The streets were all broken and cracked, the buildings were withering away and were drenched in cobwebs. It was no longer daytime either. It was night, and the mist was gone. What happened? I murmured. It just didn't make sense. Everything was fine before. It didn't look like this. I felt the inside the pockets of my shorts. The key wasn't there. Well, damn it! Now I have to read about finding that. It wasn't anywhere, not even in my boot. What could have happened to it? I was starting to lose my cool, and my breath became heavy and wet. I rubbed my eyes slowly and pulled myself up. I looked around in confusion. I didn't know what to do next. I decided that maybe I should go into the apartment, since that's why I came here anyways. I pressed my hand on the cool wooden door and slowly walked in. I didn't need the key anyway! It was dark, so I turned on my flashlight. I half expected something to be right in front of my face when I turned the light, but nothing was there. The inside looked like a dump, a very old, out-of-date, ugly as hell dump. I searched around and found a couple of doors, but they were all rusted shut. The only place to go was up some stairs that were near the center of the lobby. Every step I made... I'm reading so terribly. Every step I made walking up the staircase creaked, and I thought I was about to fall through the stairs. I made it to the top of the staircase, where there was a door that went into a hallway of rooms. I hardly walked 2 steps forward when I thought I heard a woman scream. It sounded like it was coming from one of the rooms. I ran down the hallway a little further and open the door to the room I thought it was coming from. No one was in there. "James!" I yelled. No one answered. The place was more or less clean, and it looked quite tidy. Wait. Does that make sense? The place was more or less clean, and it looked quite tidy. Maybe. All it really needed was a duster to clean away all the cobwebs. Looking around the place began to make my head hurt, so I sat on the floor and began to rub my temples. I sat there and eyed the room for a bit. There was a bottle of beer on a table next to a green recliner with a note inside it. I walked over to the bottle and carefully took the note out. It was a letter to someone. It didn't say who it was for or who it was from. It was probably to or from my character. I skimmed the letter, and apparently some of it had been worn away. Surprise. Making the letter as vague as possible. I decided to take time and read it. It said, "Dear blank, I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you don't think that I abandoned you." That was a joke, in parentheses. "I'm sorry. Been away. Fall. Long. I miss you. To do this job so we could pay for rent and other things like our new life together. Since the day I you, I thought of you as blank world. You'll always be in my heart. I can't wait to get home. Love, blank." Who is this supposed to be for? Gee, I hope they got it. I put it back in the bottle when something fell out of the letter and onto the floor, making a loud clang. I knelt down to see what it was. It was shiny. I put my flashlight on it, and actually, it was a key, a copper key. What is this for? I asked myself. It didn't have a tag on it, or a picture, or anything. I sighed and put it back into my pocket. I wouldn't be surprised if it would be useful later, because keys always are in Silent Hill. I searched the room to see if there was anything else. I did find a jar that apparently had medicine made from herbs in it. I was able to walk out the door when I saw something out of the corner of my eye. It was a shotgun mounted on one of the walls. I collected it and some ammo I found for it in one of the cupboards. Then I continued on my way to wherever I felt I should go next. Having no direction in a place like this is a fabulous idea.